Good afternoon, students. In our part 3 honors class, we have been doing Gerontion, and today we'll be continuing from where we left yesterday. We have to start from here. The tiger springs in the new year. Us he devours. Think at last. We have not reached conclusion. When I stiffen in a rented house, think at last. I have not made this show purposelessly, and it is not by my concitation of the backward devils. I would meet you upon this honestly. I that was near your heart was removed therefrom to lose beauty in terror, terror in inquisition. I have lost my passion. Why should I need to keep it, since what is kept must be adulterated? I have lost my sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. How should I use them for your closer contact? The tiger springs in the new year. There are 3 references to Christ: the divine babe lying in the manger, swaddled in dark mystery for man to behold and wonder at and honor like the Magi, then Christ the tiger. In the days of living religion, a vital source of light, strength, and terror, infusing new life and vigor in the faithful, partaking of his body and blood. But now, for the non-believing worldlings of our godless civilization who fail to find nourishing food for their spirit in him, he has become a destructive tiger, apt to devour them. Lack of faith in God destroys all that makes man worthy of his name. If he is not an image of God, he is none the better than a mischievous animal. Addressing this Christ tiger figure, Gerontion confesses that he has not been able to arrive at any definite conclusion in relation to him, and he lies almost defunct in his house, of which the ownership belongs to the Jew. The modern man has not forsaken his God for other god or gods. Now this god or gods will be with small g, but for no god. So he wants to make a sincere confession about the process of his alienation from him with capital H, that means God, the supreme power. And as this process of alienation from God has simultaneously been a decline in sexual vitality, so the confession of Gerontion is ambiguously addressed at once to Christ and to a woman who was in his youth near to his heart. He is thus relating his personal experience of love and sex as well as of the modern civilized society which he represents and embodies. The 4 lines commencing with "I that was near you, your heart," illustrate Eliot's successful absorption of the rhythm of the Jacobean blank verse. In religious terms, the confession of Gerontion traces the history of the progressive decline of religious sentiment in Europe. At first, men are genuinely attracted to God out of love for beauty. This love changed into terror born of the possibility of divine retribution, leading to damnation, as we find in Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, as he is about to die. But in the third stage, men become so rational as to argue away this fear and separate themselves from God. In sexual terms, the stages are passion for beauty, followed by repulsion, breeding fear of sexual relationship. Lastly, like Prufrock, men intellectualized the sex and deprived it of both beauty and terror. Gerontion says that he has lost his sexual passion as his society has lost the spiritual passion. It was not necessary to keep passion without a definite object for that passion. Sexual craving or religious instinct not attached to a definite object. Such rootless passion is bound to become corrupt and decadent. Sexually, he has become impotent, a man of decayed body and senses, unfit for actual contact with her. So, his rotten society is incapable of any healthy communion with God. Further, we have lines, these with 1,000 small deliberations protract the profit of their chilled delirium, excite the brain when the sense has cooled. With pungent sauces, multiply variety in a wilderness of mirrors. What will the spider do? Suspend its operations? Will the weave delay the bear hush fresca Mrs. Camel world beyond the circuit of the shuddering bear in fractured atoms gull against the wind in the windy straits of Belle Isle or running on the Horn, white feathers in the snow, the Gulf claims, and an old man driven by the trades to a sleepy corner. Thoughts of a dry brain in a dry season. Then, taking up this idea of adulterated passion in sex, that is sexual craving without physical vitality, Gerontion proceeds to say that old men sometimes whip up their cold sexual craving by brooding upon it, and by such repeated brooding they protract the vestiges of sex. This titillates the mind without awakening the frozen senses, imitating the dream of Sir Epicure Mammon in Ben Jonson's The Alchemist, who wanted to contrive a room of mirrors reflecting his dalliances with various naked beauties. Such experiences are only sauces or stimulants to the jaded appetite of an aged voluptuary. This is the case also with modern men who have lost faith in God, a fountain of living strength for them. But they try to feed the little life of their dying candle of faith by taking recourse to many pseudo-religious and fashionable philosophies which may stimulate and momentarily satisfy their curiosity, but leave the starved soul, like a patient under chloroform, conscious, but conscious of nothing. In this way, the mind of man may go on its perpetual motion, like a spider weaving its web, but such mental efforts of the modern man cannot arrest the movement of the doom of destruction, which is hovering over the heads of the contemporary society. Gerontion at last arrives at the conclusion, already reached by Adams, about secular history. External nature was a bewildering chaos on which the mind of man was struggling, like a spider, to weave his pattern of order. That forces must at length subdue mind. That history must finish by reducing man to the same colliding molecules of gas that the kinetic theory discerns in nature beyond him, and that chaos itself must finally absorb humanity, were the inferences to be drawn from the given premises. Gerontion has the vision of a dissolving universe in which the rootless cosmopolites named by him are shattered to atoms by a whirlwind which drives them in a series of circular motions beyond the freezing region of the North Pole. He at least gives a warning to all the inmates of the godless world who have sold their soul to the devil of commerce and its materialistic values. The poem completes the circle and closes on the figure of the old man whose dry brain is weaving winds in a dry season which has no hope for the rain of grace. Thus, we can see that Eliot presents pessimistic features which evoke the mood of a typical and sensitive Europe after the First World War. Now, students, this is the end of the poem. Again, you can see the last line that ends the poem is a dry brain in a dry season. And the very first line was an old man in a dry month. So, the dryness prevails throughout the poem because this dryness is due to the lack of faith in God, and a godless society has to suffer because God's grace is not showered upon it. Have a nice day. Thank you.